Hello, gentle viewers. This is of Indian with Thurman Munson here talking about the Montreal Expos. Can we appreciate that in two minor league seasons, Thurman Munson has acquired over 20 WAR, which is more than some players' entire major league careers? I think he has to be called up this year. I don't think there's any way around it. We have to call him up. Dave Cash, maybe. Again, almost 10 wins in and of himself. There's a lot to be said for making some call ups this year. Even Bill Russell had a very fine season. He's had two amazing back to back seasons. And if we look at the current team, it's not like Dick Schofield or Dick Green or Jake Gibbs or anything to write home about. And the other thing to keep in mind, too, is that unlike later in the series, once free agency kicks in, we don't have to worry about starting the service clock early. So the question then becomes, can we get an amazing piece of talent in the draft? And if so, how far can we get with it? And that's what we're going to find out this episode. We do need to hire a new pitching coach for Class A Louisville. I always like to hire young coaches because there's always a chance they might get better. And it's not like he's going to play a pivotal role in anything that happens. So, yeah, we're fine. Sure. Welcome back, Stan Bonson. Now, the biggest thing keeping us from converting all of this talent we have in the minors into Major League glory is going to be our pitching staff. But we haven't even seen the draft list yet. So, maybe there'll be somebody that's not Burt Blyleven. Oh, we got our pitching coach. I am delighted. I'm sure we'll probably won't get any awards, and that's fine. We don't really deserve any. There is a sesame seed stuck to my can. Oh, I had a Big Mac. That's right. Not sponsored, by the way. I was just trying to figure out why there was a sesame seed on my can of soda. Alright, let's go up to the winter meetings. Not to mention I'm sure we're not going to get nothing for moving players like Dick Green if we decide to. Okay. So far, this draft is not filling me with confidence. J.R. Richard could be an outstanding talent, but wow. Does my scout just suck, or are we not paying him enough, or what's going on here? I didn't win any awards, nor did I deserve any. That draft pool, though. There is always Bert Hooton and Bruce Kyson. But man, we've got what, the number 1 overall pick? I've got to get not just someone good. I've got to get like the once in a generation style player. Like merely pretty decent isn't going to cut it, not with a first overall pick. So I am not going to make any decisions yet. Hall of Fame voting. Gotta vote Yogi. I was never able to get Billy Pearson in the last series. Maybe I'll have better luck this time. I'm seeing a lot of players that don't really excite me one way or the other. I'll just vote for Barra and Pierce and see how that turns out for us. Up to the draft. You guys can't do this to me. There has to be someone truly transcendent for me to take first overall. Is this just objectively a terrible draft? God damn it. Quit giving me OSA scouting. I want my scouts scouting. Okay, John Matlick is apparently quite something. He's a really good pitcher. There's also Mike Caldwell. There's Dave Kingman. There's friend of the channel, Chris Spire. It's like, I'm going to take John Matlick because he's clearly the best choice. And hopefully, we'll get some real good seasons out of him. He was a borderline Hall of Famer in terms of his pure WAR. I don't feel so bad about taking him now. Let's take John Matlick. Yes, please. I will take Matlick and Caldwell and try to rebuild. Not so much rebuild. Ooh, actually, what about Jim Barr? Barr is just an even more Mike Caldwell. I am perfectly content grabbing Mike Caldwell. The problem is there's a couple of good defensive center fielders you can't hit. Burp. I'd personally rather take Greg Garrett. Let's grab Grego. And yeah, we're already at the point in the draft where pretty much nobody's all that tempting. You can finish drafting. So here's what's interesting. I have, to a certain extent, rebuilt my... Well, I keep saying rebuilt. I'm forgetting I'm an expansion team. I didn't have a pitching staff. Like, this creates some very intriguing possibilities that I quite simply had absolutely no idea were going to happen. Do we have anyone in the Rule 5? That's Rule 5 eligible. I doubted it, and we don't, so that's cool. Okay, what do we need? We need offense quite badly, actually. I've got a whole bunch of mediocrity. Now, Allen, Cash, Munson, and Russell are all going to go straight to the majors. Yeah, sure. Klein and Garrett can pitch in AAA. I could argue that Klein and Garrett should go up to the majors too, but for right now, that's going to be the core of players that are going to get called up. And then if I can use my extra players to maybe make... how is Leo Foster? Clearly my scouting director has a type, and that type is a good defender who doesn't hit super great. I do like his flexibility, though, and I think his ability to play third base is going to help him make the majors a bit sooner than normal. Is there anyone at all worth taking? Bill Stoneman? I mean... Not really. I'm just going to skip it. I'm not going to bother taking anyone. Alright. Caldwell to AAA, ostensibly. Matlick to AAA, ostensibly. Steve Luber, you can go to AA. Gomer Hodge. A-ball, I guess. Okay, no one is getting Dave Cash. As awesome as Roy Foster is, I am not coughing up Cash. Or Perez, for that matter. Alright. You're clearly not taking this seriously, so neither am I. But here's the difference. Here's the $1 million question. Hey, congratulations to Yogi Berra. Here's our $1 million question. Is this raw inflection of incredible talent gonna be enough to push us to a playoff spot? Well, let's first of all answer this question. Okay, Dick Green can only play second, as can Dave Cash. And there is no way in hell that Green is going to get starting reps if Dave Cash is in the lineup. Bill Russell can play right field. He wouldn't embarrass himself there. But I mean, Dick Schofield is not even the awesome defensive player we had in a previous franchise. So, meh. I would be very pleased if one of my middle infielders could take over at third. But I don't think that person is here. Which is not great. Is there any interesting free agents? Johnny Edwards is a perfectly acceptable backup catcher, but that doesn't mean I actually want him. I think maybe that's what we do. I think maybe we pair up one or two of our players that don't really have a spot and see if we can use them to get a third baseman. A trade proposal. No. Abso-bloody-lutely not. Okay. Alright. Well, let's actually see what we've got, and let's make the promotions that we're going to make. Matlick Majors. Allen Majors. Cash Majors. Munson Majors. Caldwell Majors. And Russell Majors. So here's our core. Dave Cash, Tony Perez, Thurman Munson with the bats. Russell is a good... Russell's a good pair. Pair is not the word I'm looking for. He's a good addition. He fills in some important gaps. And I love that. But we're not going to get a lot from some of our players. So there's still tons of holes to fill. Now, we could keep Dick Green. He was actually pretty handy last year. But he's not going to be super happy with getting pushed to the side. We all of a sudden have a very tasty pitching staff, too. We could surprise some people this year. Okay. So, Dick Green is our most marketable asset. He's a player in or around his prime who offers power at an elite defensive position. Not the best of hitters, but he does okay. What can I get for this? Now, what do we need? We're fine at first, second, and short. As a DH, Webster's perfectly acceptable, but that's about the nicest thing I can say about him. Hinton maybe deserved more of an opportunity than he got last year. Maybe he could make something happen this year. But, yeah, literally any other position is fair game. So let's try to trade Dick Green and see what we can get. Let's start with third base. Kenny plays great defense but doesn't hit. Great defense but doesn't hit. Mediocre defense but can kind of hit. Alright. And I'm going to add veterans too. Let's see. Pete Ward doesn't play third really all that well. Otherwise, I'd very strongly think about it. Alright. Third base isn't really a position that we can fit. Tom Trash is just... What if we shift to outfield help? Buddy Bradford. Nope. As amazing as it would be to have Mickey Mantle, look, I would not trade very much for him, and he's a little bit too expensive for my taste. Walt Williams hits for contact and a tiny bit of power, but not much else. Felipe Alou can't play center, can't play center, can't play center. Can't play anywhere or hit. Can play left field reasonably well, but can't hit. Johnny Callison's got a bit of pop to him. Marshall doesn't really excite me. So here's what Johnny Callison would bring to the table. Another power bat. he'd bring veteran leadership, he'd bring a pretty fair outfield defense, and an ability to draw the occasional walk. He's only 1 year removed from an outstanding season, and 2 years removed from an all-star caliber season, even an MVP caliber season. And all I'm giving up is Dick Green. And I know that's going to cost us money, really. We're playing this game again. Ooh. Can we make this deal bigger? Do you have a third bit Tom Trash? Like, okay, I would cream my pants to get Dick Allen, and I know there isn't any way in hell you'd give me Dick Allen. Let's try. Just for fun. I'd even trade, I'll be honest, I would even trade Tony Perez if I got Dick Allen out of it. But that's alright. I didn't really expect that to happen. Tom Trash. Oh, now that's interesting. It's pretty clear to me that Trash's best days are behind him. But he does play third base reasonably well. And he's been worth a couple of wins each season for the last few seasons. You wouldn't give me Benelli Conigliaro even if I asked. And you shouldn't. I'm really struggling to see the downside here, and I'm not seeing it. You're not going to give me Bill Buckner, are you? No, that's fine. Now, so here's the big downside to this. If we lose Dave Cash, losing Dick Green doesn't give us a lot of flexibility. But this fills two critical positions and gives us the flexibility to move more pieces to try to fill some of our other holes. I'm making this deal. I think this is a perfectly balanced, a perfectly designed trade. Because what we're basically hoping is that we run into a bit of luck. Callison is a clear upgrade over Webster. Johnson is not the guy I was thinking of. Where's the other guy? Oh, Tresh is clearly a big upgrade over virtually anyone else I would have put at third. I mean, this could be a truly special offensive team that now has a couple of big horses in the rotation and enough back-end talent that I think pitching staff would be the only area I'd like to improve in. A lot of people want Abernathy. Just give me pitchers and don't offer me veterans. I mean, where's the lie here? How is that not an upgrade? Yeah, I'll just flat out take a challenge trade. I mean, that's not going to win any championships by itself, but Cal here is a reasonably good relief pitcher. All right, let's sim up to spring training before I decide if I'm going to move anyone else. I mean, it doesn't really matter because the one thing I don't have is free agents to sign. It's whatever. All right, I'm gonna let my dude here set everything up. And don't worry, we will rebuild both the roster and the pitching staff once I get around to it. Yeah, I've got him set to do both of those things. Player development, anything big happen here? A couple people declined ever so slightly. That's not the greatest of signs, but it's fine as things go. Mike McQueen's really putting some heat on his fastball. Like, he is seriously a borderline reliever now. And I drafted him quite late, didn't I? Yeah, he was my 5th round pick, and he's shown enough improvement to me that I think he's gonna make the majors at some point. All right, what do we got in terms of trade block? A bunch of players I'm not really interested in. Okay. Go ahead and finish. All right. So, we have 33 players on our roster. 16 of them are pitchers. I do not need 16 pitchers. Well, here's the easy choice. Wabam. Camino is pretty terrible. I'm just going to release him, actually. Hello, non-guaranteed contracts. Again, Rob Gardner, no upside to keeping him. How many pitchers does that leave me with now? 13. I'd ideally like to get rid of 2 more. I've got 5 starters, which is great. Let's send Corkins to the minors. And Lazar? Yeah, Lazar. Okay. Got the pitchers down to 11. Even that's probably too many, but I'll go with it for right now. And I don't need 3 catchers. So Gibbs is better. What can I get for John Bateman? You know what, Hal? Do you have any options left? You do. Alright, let's grab Hal. He's a nice bullpen arm, and that's more valuable to me right now than a 3rd catcher. So, I will put you on the 40-man, but I'm going to stick you in AAA. Give you a chance to work on some stuff. Lanier is pretty obviously terrible. He does play all three positions well. Which is, you know, well, is kind of a relative term. I'm going to cut linear. And I guess I'll trade Cookie Rojas if anyone will give me anything for him. Only prospects, please. Oh, sorry. All players. It didn't make a difference. Yeah, no one wants a 32-year-old who can't hit anymore. I think that's reasonable. So there we go. Now, center field is still a bit of a hole. But what we're going to do now is I'm telling my bench coach, I got this, buddy. I would like you very much to GTFO. I got it from here. So, how do we build our lovely, lovely team? First of all, nuke everything, please. God damn it, really? OOTP developments, you guys gotta fix this shit. Just randomly, I can't click on a button. It's just so terrible. Alright. So, as always, we start with the position ratings. I always start by overall. Who is categorically our best overall hitter? Tony Perez. I think that's pretty much undisputed. That might be Dave Cash in a couple of years. But right now, I'm just going to take him as just an amazing leadoff hitter. Oh, really? I thought I cleared everything. Alright. Tony Perez hits third, plays first base. Easy choice. I want someone with a bit of power behind him that can drive the ball. And I think that's Callison. Now, Mr. Callison, do you have a pronounced... You really don't like right-handed pitching. Which is, I guess, what Lou Johnson is for. Possibly. Potentially. Or Webster, maybe. Or even Hinton. So, Callison, you're going to be the cleanup hitter at that point. Now, Munson 2 or Munson 5. And whichever, let's take the other obvious choice, which is Dave Cash is going to be the leadoff hitter. Like, I know I typically like a guy who can draw walks a little better, but he's got perfect contact. Like, even a mediocre ability to draw walks, and he's going to get on a 350 clip, and he's got a huge range of options to fill that. He almost hit 500 in the 450 in the frickin' minors. Cash can handle it. So, the question then becomes Russell or Munson batting second. Munson almost hit better than what's-his-face did. Now, I want to take a moment and talk this decision out. Because I think it's an interesting one, and it's one that separates a lot of modern managers from a lot of past managers. It always used to be the fastest guy in the lineup was your number one, and your second fastest was your number two. Because the game used to be based a lot more around stolen bases. In the 70s, it's kind of stolen base-ish. But it's not the focal point. But I really want a player who can make a ton of contact, get on base, and move people around. And that says Thurman Munson to me. Even if Munson isn't very fast, he's got such good bat control. and I want to get him as many at bats as possible. I don't care that he's slow. I legitimately don't care. So I'm gonna make Thurman Munson my number 2 hitter. Because think about it. Dave Cash gets on first. Then Thurman Munson cracks the bat, moves him up. Tony Perez drives them all in. And then you've got Johnny Callison for anyone that Perez fails to clean up. That's a pretty potent 1 through 4. And then we slide in Webster. Or not Webster. Why did I say Webster? I meant Russell. Because what Russell brings to the table is, first of all, he's a fairly polished bat. There's not much that he can grow offensively. He doesn't do anything great, but does a lot of things kind of well. And that makes him a perfect number 5 hitter. Alright, so we got to fill the rest of the lineup. I need third base, center field, and left field. Tom Tresh as 6th hitter has a lot of merit to him. He clearly likes righties better than lefties, but he can also hold his own against lefties. And he's a switch hitter. It looks like he's got a big hole in his swing, though, against righties. Looks like he strikes out a lot more. But I'm okay with that. And I think Tresh is leagues better than anyone else who can put it third. So, we need center field and left field. Like, Young's our center fielder. I'm going to bat him 8th. Who takes left field? Well, who are my candidates? First is Webster. Webster's a reasonably good hitter who can't play the outfield. We've got Lou Johnson, a slightly worse hitter who can't play the outfield. Chuck Hinton, a very good power hitter who nonetheless can't really play the outfield super well anymore. Alright, let's narrow it down further just to get a better visual representation of the candidates for the position. Because it's going to come down to one of these 3, right? Does any of them have a big boost against right-handed pitching? Webster's got the best contact. Reasonable gap power, won't strike out a whole lot, and a decent batting eye. I think we'll take Webster. And there's your starting 8. And then let's go ahead and I will let the bench coach fill out the rest. That's perfectly fine. Alright, versus lefties. The top of the order is going to be the same. Cash, Munson, and Perez. Okay. Then we come to who's my next power? Who's my cleanup hitter against left-handed pitching? Like, Callison is still the best power hitter. In terms of homers, he just loses a bit of his eye and a bit of his ability to make contact. I'm going to put him in the lineup, but I'm going to bat him 6th. Callison's too good an overall hitter to keep out of the lineup. Hinton or Tresh? Tresh's contact is 27. Hinton's is 29. Oh dear. Sorry, I'm looking in the wrong column. I'm an idiot. 28 and 31. Still not much better. I think maybe Webster's the cleanup hitter. But then I might as well just make it Callison again. So the contact difference isn't that big, and Callison's got a whole hell of a lot more power. So yeah, I guess we will just put Callison in the cleanup again. Russell batting 5th. Trash batting. Maybe Johnson? Yeah, maybe Johnson. Lou Johnson can give us our left field joy. And then Trush bats 7th and Young bats 8th. Okay. Instant gut reaction. First of all, this lineup is extremely narrow. Our top flight players are among the best in the league, but our depth players are all pretty shitty. And this is a pretty common talent problem for your expansion era teams. We're basically counting on the main guys to carry us for most of the season. I really wish Hinton had any contact ability, because his secondary tools are pretty choice. But he doesn't make contact at a high enough rate for me to justify putting him in the lineup every day. But maybe, he'll fill in and he'll play quality offense when we desperately need him, which is great. The other thing to keep in mind, too, is that the core of this team isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Cash, Munson, Perez, and Russell are all very young. Perez, a little bit less than the others. And there's no reason to think they can't keep doing whatever it is that they're going to be able to do for a while. And then it just leaves us to use the draft to fill in some of these other holes as we play through our season. Now, Matlick is the ace. I don't think there's any disputing that. Caldwell at number 2. Pappas number 3. I guess it doesn't really matter if you pick Fryman and Arias or Arias and Fryman. I like Fryman slightly better because he's got more control. Audigo really doesn't. Okay. Definitely 4-man rotation, actually. We're still at that time in history where that's an acceptable practice. Let's see here. Sparma's got a little bit better stuff, so I'm going to go Sparma long relief, emergency starter, and then Arago's going to be emergency starter long relief. Relievers. I mean, Latrice Allen is the best reliever on the team, so I think making him the stopper is the obvious choice. But I keep calling him Latrice. His name is Lloyd. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to make you a stopper, and I'm going to have you come in 8th and close game. Secondary role the closer. Because I don't care about saves. I want the best pitcher making the most appearances. I like the combo of Kester and Coons. Because Kester's got that raw stuff that you love to see in the later innings, even if his control suffers a bit. But Coons is more of a solid middle innings guy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go middle relief for Coons. Between McGinn and Short, who is the better pitcher? It's McGinn. So then McGinn's also going to be middle relief, and Short's going to be lefty specialist middle relief. Between McGinn and Coombs, I think we're going to shift this slightly. I want you using Coombs more than McGinn. No, other way around. Yeah. Just because a strike thrower isn't a bad thing to have at the back of the bullpen, but I don't want him getting high leverage innings. Unlike McGinn, who I don't mind if he gets them. And the one area that we do have depth at is the bullpen. We've got a few interesting pitchers in the minors who I think are champing at the bit. I think this is solid. I want to check, just as an example, the Mets and see if they're running a 4-man or 5-man. See, they don't actually think it's actually time to do this yet, so that's fine. But yeah, I think away we go. Damn, I got 3 in the top 10. Do I have the best minor league system in the majors? I hope so. I do. They really love Baller more, don't they? I think the world of him, too. I really, truly do. I mean, I look at his raw talent, and I'm just like, I'm in awe of what he could do for the right team at the right time. I want him pitching in single A this year. I think that's a reasonable thing to do for a 20-year-old who had his way with rookie ball. We really don't like him, do we? That's fine. Okay. So, cards on the table. What do we think is the best possible result? Besides the World Series win, obviously. I don't think we're going to win the World Series. I don't even think we're going to make the World Series this year. I think it's asking way too much of this team to even consider making the playoffs. Arlen, you can go up to single A. I think it's asking just way too much of this current team as situated to make the playoffs this year. If it happens, it happens, and I would be delighted, but I'm not counting on it. You know what? Let's go ahead and do the 5th starter. We're still going to use always start highest rested, so it means that my 5th guy's not going to get all that much time anyway. And we'll make it Sparma. I'm really interested to see how this season goes. So let's before we start, let's quickly ground ourselves here. We were 56 and 106. If we lose 100 games with this roster, I will eat my proverbial hat. Unless a lot of people get injured, which is totally a thing that could happen. I would be very shocked if we lost 100 games again with this roster. I think bare minimum, I'm guaranteeing a 10-win improvement. I think it'll be even better than that. But I'm guaranteeing, me to you, mark it down, get out your Avindian's prediction journal. I know you have one. Maybe you have several. And write, guaranteed, worst possible record, 66 and 96. I think that's an entirely reasonable thing to say. Let's play the first month of the season. Okay. I didn't like you anyway, Woody Fryman. Jackass. It's obviously gonna be Steve Klein. I'm not gonna put him right in the rotation just yeah. No, I am. I totally am. Is this the guy? No, this is the father of the other Steve Klein, I think. Yeah. The one who was a reliever for years and years and years and years and years. Maybe they're not related, though. I could just be making that up. I always assumed that they were, but maybe they're not. Hey, we got a shutout. Well done, John Matlick. But we got shut out a couple times. And then Papos shut out somebody. And then some things have happened. Okay, we're getting shut out a lot. Thankfully, we're throwing shutouts too, but we're getting shut out a lot. What is happening? Okay, literally no one outside the top 3 is hitting. I see that my Bill Russell will hit prediction is also a mistaken one. Well, that's fine. Let's just go ahead and continue the season, because there's not much else I can do. How is Steve Klein took to the majors? Not super great. Let me send him back to Tacoma. And let's activate Woody Fryman. There we go. I always have Ed Goodson. It's like fate that he will always be on my team. Stupid Braves. Stupid Joe or Phil Negro. Sorry, wrong Negro. Charlie Manuel is hitting .330 in the minors. Holy shit. Yeah, you can play in AAA now. You've earned it. Player development. Matlick's getting better. Allen and Munson are getting better. Perez is pretty sweet. So is Cash. Russell's kind of meh. Young is getting a bit better. So in esoteric references that not everyone will get, our 4 horsemen are like not the good horsemen, not the really awesome ones like Barry Windham, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, and Ric Flair. We've got like Ric Flair is Tony Perez. We've got Arn Anderson as Thurman Munson. Dave Cash is Tully Blanchard. And then we've got Paul fucking Roma as the 4th horse. I know Bill Russell is starting to hit a little bit, which is great to see. But so is Ramon Webster actually. The problem is neither Callison nor Tresh are hitting at all. So, question time. Do we trade Webster now and try to get a really top-notch player out of it? I mean, I don't think anyone's going to want anyone outside of the top 3 or top 4, maybe even. It's not really fair to call Bill Russell as the 4th horseman. He's not really Paul Roma. He's not Barry Windham either though. I can't think of who I would call him. Was Lex Luger ever a horseman? I don't think he was. Anyway, now that we're completely sidetracked on things that are way before my time, so that's what's holding us back right now. The pitching rotation also has issues. But I think bad luck's got a lot to do with it. Here's the good news about us sucking this year. I think we're still well on pace to make my prediction that I'm not going to lose 100 games. But we're still fairly terrible, which should get us a pretty high draft pick. Because, Lord help me, there's a bunch of positions where we could use some serious help. And I think this next draft is going to be a good one to think about for getting some improvements there. I should have demoted Callison. Okay, interesting. What does it affect? It's minimal effect. It's a strained muscle. I mean, I don't want to lose him the whole season, but I'm also not going to take him out of the lineup for that. Okay, that hurts. Especially since there's literally no other catcher on my team. I didn't think that through. Hey dude. God damn it. Shit. I hope my backup catcher enjoys playing this sport. Because I literally don't have I don't have another catcher in my entire minors. That was pretty stupid of me. It's alright, backup catcher. All I'm expecting you to do is play until Thurman Munson's healthy. Good job, Jake Gibbs. You're absolutely terrible. And you're probably tired as hell. But I nonetheless appreciate you. Oh, god damn it. Why? So Herman Hill can play center but can't hit at all. Tom Silverio can sort of hit and play really good center. That's what we'll do. Please put Munson back where he belongs. And we'll put Silverio where he belongs. No, not Lou Johnson. I am not playing Lou Johnson at center field. I want to have some kind of defense. Alright. I will always love you, Jake Gibbs, but you also suck. So that's a thing that is true. Yeah, Moore needs a lot more work before I'd promote him again. A 5.86 ERA ain't gonna cut it. Giving up 13 homers ain't gonna cut it. He's got to be a bit better to get called up. Ed Goodson is rocking it this year. I think he's earned a promotion to Double A. Shut off for Caldwell. Nice. All right. We're in a very weird spot. We have 43 wins. We have 43 wins. We are one of the better teams in the majors this year. Like, we're not the top tier teams. Don't get me wrong. We're not. But for the National League, we're pretty good at that baseball thing. I have no illusions that this will last. Absolutely none. And if we make the playoffs, I would be legitimately shocked. Speaking of which, I did hear you guys loud and clear that you wanted to see me play playoff games. I'll think about it. I do enjoy doing it. All things considered. Oh lordy. Okay. All my minor league coaches, come on back, y'all. Alright. Who else do we want to bring back? Who does Tony Rocha currently help? Tony Perez, Thurman Munson, and Johnny Callison. I mean, I could give him an extension. I'm not convinced he's the best possible hitting coach, but I'm also not convinced that he's not. Scouting director. I think we can do better. Same is probably true for team trainer too. Oh God, yes. Pitching coach. He gets along well with my bullpen guys. I can give him a very short extension. 2 years is fine. But yeah, we're going to replace our team trainer and our scouting director in the offseason. I think those are both some smart moves. So, okay. What do we do with the team as is? Tom Tresh is objectively terrible. He's not even hitting 200 this year. But it's also hard for me to have expected much more than that out of him. But on the other hand, I also don't have a third baseman who could pick up the slack. So I think we just kind of accept it. I may not like it, but I must accept it. Ramon Webster's having a very sneaky good offensive season. Like, this isn't the kind of season that wins you, say, the World Series or an MVP. This is just quiet competence at hitting. And, you know, horrible tragedy in the outfield, but this is life, right? Johnny Callison's been a nice little pickup for us. I cannot say the same about his partner in crime. Oh, good lord. He's kind of a bad outfielder. It's looking like we'll get better than his season with the Phillies last year, which is fine. Good Lord, Dave Cash. Other people are like, playing in the majors is hard. Dave Cash is like, bitch, 353 in my first season. Thurman Munson, like, making it look easy, too. Not to the same degree, though. One of the things that we haven't seen yet from him is power. And that's going to come. I think we just need to let him develop that power naturally. Because that's the only hole in his game right now. The dude's hitting 309 with a 364 on base average. Then there's Tony Perez. Yeah. There's a lot of good in this lineup this year, but there's also a huge number of areas we can improve at. The best of which would be third base. Guys, if I had literally anyone who I thought could take over at third base for a bit, I would get rid of Tom Trush in a heartbeat. Let's try to trade Hinton. Because for better or worse, he's never going to get much playing time on this team. It's just not within his skill set. I'm going to set you to being a third baseman. I'd like you to spend the rest of the year apparently not playing third base. Play third base, please. I want to see if you can develop a bit of third base, because if you can, you have a much quicker path to the majors. Good old Ed Goodson. Prospects and regulars. Let's just see what kind of offers I get. I get nothing but pitchers. That's not what I want. And it's only at... Oh, it's Detroit. Okay. Yeah, I'm just not going to bother with that. Yeah, see, it sounds like Milt Pappas was suspended, but in reality, he knew he'd want to take a break. Huh. I did not know that. That is a really impressive list of hitters. I approve. Now, who made the All-Star team? Matlick, Perez, and Cash. That is totally fine with me. That is absolutely totally fine with me. I've got a feeling that we're also going to see Thurman Munson's name in here in another year or two. We start to develop his power. Hey, our good old friend Terry Forster. I remember him. And let's just go up to the trading deadline. A proposal of the trade variety. No. Like, what about Ron Klein? Do you think I would actually want to add to my team? Do you think I just want some sort of, like... how is Silverio handling the majors? Not great. But Don Young wasn't anything special either. And at least Silverio's like an amazing center fielder. Sorry, fielding stats. Yeah, he's pretty good at playing center. I'm gonna let Don Young get a bit of extra rest and rehab him a bit. I could try trading Don Young. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? They say no, and then I don't have a player. I'm getting a lot of names. That's either very good or very bad. I like the name Scipio Spinks quite a lot, actually. It's also a very good reliever. Okay. What about not relievers? What have we got in places that do not include relievers? There's Walt Williams again. Retrice. Alright, let's start by looking at third base. Is there an upgrade to Tom Tresh here? I mean, not really. Bill Robinson can't really play third. You can't hit. You're basically Tom Trash, just maybe slightly cheaper. What do we got in the outfield for those options? Okay, Buddy Bradford. Cam Berry, Berry's really good defensively. Danny Walton. Walton's got a ton of power, but it looks like that's his only skill. I'd like someone a bit more well-rounded. As in not Rod Gaspar, who only draws walks and plays the outfield kind of good. Now here's an interesting choice. Luis Melendez. I really like the sound of that. A good young center fielder with a pretty good amount of talent defensively who might hit if in the right system. Gotta find the magical hotspot you got. Here we go. What else could I give you? Could I get you to hand over to me? Not Mickey Stanley. He can't play third. Don Wirt? Maybe. You would give me J.R. Richard, and I'm not frankly that sure that I'd want him even if I could get him. This isn't worth it to me. I think I'd rather get one of the really great relief pitchers. I just think it's a better deal, right? I think it's a lot better. Alright, first of all, Scipio Spinks is just gonna be an amazing reliever someday. I like him a lot. Cisco Carlos is quite good. Jim York. Jim York. Oh, that's the best one yet. Dave Roberts would be a borderline starter if his secondary pitches were a little better. Rich Nye is actually quite tasty too, as relief pitchers go. Dave Lemons could be there one day. Bob Reynolds is pretty talented, but again, he's got a ways to go. Where's Jim York? I think he's gonna be my dude. He ticks too many boxes for me. I'd be happy to ask for more. Would you give me more? Like, would you give me Chuck Seelbach too? No, because you just drafted him. Dicks. I could take Larry Boa. But I gotta think you're not going to want to give him up. I don't really want Clete Boyer. I don't want Jose Pagan. Or Dick McCullough, for that matter. Like, the players I'd want most, you're not going to give me. And the players I don't want are the ones you probably would give me. Would you throw in Chuck Taylor? No, you'd want a little more. I'm just going to take this deal. Hey, he traded for an all-star. I wasn't even trying to do that. Good for me. Yeah, I just think that makes sense. And I know this is actually going to leave us overstaffed in pitching. But I think that's fine for the short term. Coons, my friend, I thought you would turn out better than you did. I'm going to try waiving you, but I have a sneaking suspicion that you're not going to make it through waivers. I think someone's going to grab you, and I'll look pretty stupid, but that's fine. Wouldn't be the first time, my friends. Wouldn't be the first time. Alright, let's proceed. Hey, I got the Rookie of the Month. Nice. You got the best header in the National League. Sweet. Any changes here? No, except Ballard Moore again is just... He keeps adding a tiny bit more all the time, and I'm really excited by that. It rubs my engine, you might say. Oh no, not Cal Coombs. No. I mean, I don't love that that trade ended up blowing up in my face. But I mean, it's not like Ted Abernathy was doing anything special either, so... I mean, it is what it is. We're in first place? Like, holy shit, I didn't even notice that. We might not be for long. He's slowly picking up third base. Read all message, delete all messages. Is it worth calling up Ed Goodson and hoping he figures out third? Because look, Tom Trush is holding us back. Like, if he was playing amazing third base, he is playing pretty good third base. It's just not amazing. Like, the top half of this lineup is trying to drag the bottom half into contention. Alright. I'm going to make one move, and I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but I think it's worth a shot. I'm going to swap Webster and Russell. Let's try to get... How's Lou Johnson doing? Pretty shit. Yeah. Tom Trush is dragging us down so badly. Fuck it. Give me Ed Goodson. It's like Trush is so terrible at hitting. I've got to take a risk if we're going to make the playoffs. And I just think Goodson offers a bit more with the bat than Trush. And maybe that's going to be enough to help us make up a 2-game deficit. Ooh, Stan Bonson's back. How's Sparma doing this year? He's alright. Bonson, go ahead and... Actually, no, I can call you up, can't I? Because it's the 40-man rosters. So, well, let's make you an emergency starter, long reliever. Yeah, I think we're out of it. Yeah, we are. That's a shame. What? Dave Cash? Oh, my dude, Thurman Munson beat you by one percentage point. And look, he started developing power toward the end of the season. Damn. Led the league in hits, triples, and runs. Munson led the league in batting average. Boom. We're going to send to the end of the playoffs, and then we're going to talk about the season, what went well, what didn't go well, maybe what to expect next season. Okay. So, let's start by clearing this out. He really liked John Callison. He's very happy. Because I came very close to the plus. Guys, we won 86 games. Oh, Jim Davenport's retiring. No, I don't care. So let's first of all bask in our accomplishment this season. 86 and 76. We improved by more than 30 games. I just said we'd win 10 more games. But we actually won 30 more games. Exactly 30 more games. And our expected record was actually even better. So we actually underperformed slightly based on what we got. Okay. Let's break down the individual players. Oh yeah, I forgot that Ed Goodson was designed to play that. He did hit better than Tom Trush. I don't think there's any denying that. Alright. So let's look at the batting stats. Sorting by WAR. Okay. I cannot overemphasize how much talent, how much production we got from the core of the roster. It's almost silly. To have players as talented as Thurman Munson, Tony Perez, and Dave Cash. All of basically who are going to be fighting for MVP votes. And Munson and Cash are going to be fighting with Matlick for who gets to be Rookie of the Year. Now Munson still has room to grow, which is scary. My word, is it scary. But he should easily be hitting 25 to 30 homers a year. That is in his potential. Delighted with Munson. Perez is largely what's making this possible. Let's remind ourselves, what do we give up for Perez? Stan Williams, Jim Lonberg, Tony Salida. Admittedly, Salida actually looks like he's quite decent. That part of the deal, maybe not perfect. Jesus Alou, meh. Camilo Pascual, meh. And we got Perez and Pappas and Arrigo. Okay, Arrigo I'm not as excited about, but the others are awesome. And then Dave Cash. Now, Dave Cash is going to be particularly vulnerable to the young player's skill set. As long as he's able to hit for high contact, he's going to be a great player. The moment this one tool of his slips even a little bit, we're going to start to see his value nosedive. But for now, we're going to enjoy him while we have him. Any other year, a debut like this, you'd kind of nod your head. Oh, we don't have a new scout yet. We'll be fixing that very soon next episode. Don't you worry about it. This would be a perfectly acceptable rookie season other years. And I still think he's got more to show us, more to offer than what we saw this year. Especially the doubles department. He should easily be able to hit 20 to 25 doubles a year. And just this year, he didn't. Callison was a nice little upgrade to the roster. Really solidified our lineup. Webster hit well. And then there's a lot of players who didn't play so well. Chuck Hinton is not worth even apparently the minuscule at-bats we're giving him. Tom Tresh was barely acceptable because he played really strong third base. So it could get better there. And then, my word, this pitching staff. John Matlick and Mike Caldwell. We had 4 rookies who all turned in Rookie of the Year style rookie. Or maybe even Lloyd Allen is right there. Joe Sparma had a good year, and then the rest of the year just kind of meh. But that's the one thing I'm concerned about. A lot of things went very, very right this year. We hit on every single rookie, well, arguably with the exception of Bill Russell. And maybe Russell will turn it around next year. Who knows? Here's the downside of this season. Are you ready? Are you ready to see the downside of this season? It's got to be downhill from here. I cannot, in good conscience, say, yes, we are definitely going to make the playoffs next year. We are hugely ahead of schedule, and I've got to expect some regression to the mean next year. And here's the double plus on good part of it. Guys, we're going to have a bad draft pick. Like, we're not cracking top 10. We should get top half. I feel pretty confident about that. But we're not getting top 10. And so this means we'll get a very useful role player. We're probably not going to get a starter. We need third base. We need outfield help. And these are positions we should be able to find. We could even use a couple of solid young starters. Ballard Moore ended up having a pretty good year in single A. Let's promote him to double A. Who else? Steve Arlen. You were in triple A at one point. I'm going to send you to double A. That all seems reasonable. Like, is Steve Klein any good? I don't really think so. I don't think Steve Klein's got much of a chance of pitching more than some emergency innings here and there. But there's still talent here. We're going to go ahead and end the episode here. Next episode, we're going to be hiring a new team trainer, a new scouting director, and starting to look toward the future. Toward how we makes this success sustainable. But I'm really excited to see how it turns out. Until next time, though, this has been Avindian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.